And so we're going to be rolling into our presenter. We have one presenter today, and her name is Jasper. She has a wonderful personality and really upbeat and positive. She owns a company called Tobala, which is a food truck. And she's going to be telling us about her story, how she came to found um, Tobala, and what she's been up to in regards to servicing the community through food truck and feeding our bellies, if you will. And I'm really looking forward to hearing her story. So without further ado, we're going to bring on Jasper Axelrad, who owns Tabala Food Truck. You can get a clap, clap.
Thank you, Sean. First off, I just want to say thank you guys so much. Thank you, 1,000,000 Cups. Every single one of y'all have been incredible to know and get to know, and just really beautiful people. So I've been absolutely thrilled, especially with Frank and 3E's beautiful venue when we're in person. So sad it's closed right now, but still really gorgeous place. But yeah, so just to give you a little bit of background about me, I am from Houston, Texas. I grew up there. I graduated as a dental hygienist in 2016 from UT Health, Health and Science Center. It's a fantastic school. And after working as a hygienist for about a year in Houston, I decided I needed to do some self-exploration. So I went and lived in my car for about 2.5 years and backpacked. And I went across 4 states. I did over 600 miles. I went to 13 different states in the process and over 30 cities, and really just got to meet a ton of people, see a bunch of beautiful scenery, and experience a lot. And along the way, one of the people I met was this really talented chef, and I just super passionate and intuitive about food. And I was working as a hygienist in Salida actually when the pandemic hit. And for hygienists and dental industry in general, it closed down a lot of us. And I reached out to my friend that I had met in New Mexico to see what he was doing. And of course, he was going stir crazy because he was in the restaurant industry. And I asked him what he wanted to do. He said he wanted to own a restaurant. And so I said, okay. And I think we can get there. It's going to start with a food truck. So Tobala was actually designed for somebody else who was just really passionate, because I feed off of passion, which is why I know all the people in this group, because everyone in this group is absolutely amazing. And unfortunately, he and I split ways about a month in, but getting to the food truck part was a amazing learning experience that has become just an incredible overall connector and just a really fun experience, because I don't have any background in marketing or in business or anything like that. And so when I decided I wanted to start a business, and especially one during the pandemic, that business model was to originally deliver food, because the third-party delivery services are what really bothered me with Grubhub, with DoorDash. These third-party delivery services basically monopolized and capitalized on the fact that everything was shut down. And I wanted to create something that could deliver quality food to people on a much lower financial scale that wasn't taking percentages away from people, right? So the drivers had their percentages cut big time. So the original business model was to be a delivery service as a food truck. But once the food truck actually was opened, places started to open up, which allowed me to connect with the breweries in town and the restaurants in town. And I got to know people through that. And a huge part of of building this business actually was the BNI group that I became a part of, Dynamic Alliances. I had no idea what BNI was originally. And I met someone in the group at the dog park. I didn't even have an LLC at that point. I was in it for about 5 minutes and was just like beyond belief with the energy, the people in it, the quality of the people. It was amazing. And I can't tell you enough how supportive they were, because that became a huge part of what helped propel Tobala and helped me in a business sense. Because again, no business background, I needed resources, and people came together to help me learn. So that was really an amazing supportive piece. But then when I started to pivot with Tobala and hire employees, that became an interesting transition because I've never had managerial experience either. So really what imperfect action as you go, but it became, I got to meet the food truck community, and they were all just wonderful individuals, and I wanted to highlight them. So it became more of a community effort, especially with small businesses and trying to get people seen. And that's really where I started to get to meet everyone and enjoy the process of owning a truck. So thank you for having me on. And yeah, I'm open to any questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation about your story, Jasper. We really appreciate you kind of sticking to your journey, which sounds like a very interesting one, especially the traveling all over the place. That must have been a great experience. I'll start the first question, and I will ask about the whole Mexican cuisine to the creative cuisine, because I know you guys recently did something like that, like stopped doing Mexican and went to creative. Can you speak on that a bit?
Yeah, so it was originally going to be like authentic Mexican cuisine, because that was the person who I really created the truck for initially. But when we pivoted to being employee based, right? Because I'm the owner, not the operator, because good Lord, I can't even make mac and cheese. I wanted to partner with local farmers. And in order to let people cook what they wanted to, I wanted to broaden that umbrella. So we rebranded to creative cuisine, so that whoever is a employee, and really the idea is to kind of create a dream job, right? So they work between March to September and get full benefits in the process and get a base salary with commission on top, and they come up with the menu, and I connect them with um, Michael and Kyan. Actually, they're wonderful individuals. They kind of act as a broker for farmers here in Colorado, only Colorado, and they help you source from them. So it just allowed for more creativity and to be able to actually utilize local resources in a better way.
It sounds like a la carte Uber, I mean, on Grubhub, if you will. Like almost like kind of get creative with your stuff and get it delivered. It seems like that's where you're going, especially with everything being shut down. Great answer. Thank you. Our next question is coming from one of our own, Brandy Nunez. Go ahead, Brandy.
First off, Jasper, thank you for being on here. I'm so honored to know you because you're an amazing person, and you truly, at the heart of who you are, want to help others, which is why you launched the business, right? So going into a business, knowing zero about, like you said, management, hiring, marketing, any of that stuff, let's expand on those struggles a little bit to people launching a business and talk about what you wish you would have known that you didn't know, and any advice that you may have.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, right, the hardest thing has been truly employees. So I'm from Texas, and to be like absolutely candid, right, Colorado is an at will or right to work state. So there's no 2-week requirement. There's no real stipulations to put reliability into the business model. And because of some of the laws or orders that were passed here in Colorado, the breweries and distilleries can't function without food. They cannot serve alcohol. So it's really important to be reliable as a food truck and a hookup connection, because if you're not there, they can get in trouble. And so being reliable, being punctual becomes incredibly important. I've had at least 4 employees no call, no show, just all together. And that's okay to do here in Colorado. It's not okay from a professionalism standpoint, but trying to implement reliability in that endeavor, especially because, again, I don't cook. I'm not the operator. I'm the owner. I do the marketing on the backside. I do the booking. I do the connections and things along those lines. That is the biggest challenge that I faced.
Wow. Great answer. We have a question from Rihanna, but before we do that, we're going to go to a question from Facebook. And the question is, can you tell us about what you're doing for the community in regards to COVID and reopening businesses?
Yes. So that's a really big question, because there were some big changes that happened last night. And there's a lot that I could touch on there. But when I changed Tobala to be just a food truck and not go towards brick and mortar, I sponsored Two Native Sons, which is an incredible dynamic duo with Patrick and Scott, and they have been absolutely amazing in giving. So they come out where the food truck is and highlight all the other food truck owners in the food truck festivals. And they do that. They've been doing it pretty much for free. And then I'm able to put them on my page and highlight all those local businesses. So a couple things on that, and hopefully some stuff we'll touch on, but there's some ideas and process to start getting local businesses highlighted for free. And that's really what I'm going to start doing with Tobala, because I am closing it for winter and pivoting the Facebook page of Tobala Cuisine to Tobala Food for Thought. And that will be able to just highlight local businesses one after another through winter for free. So that's going to be something that I hope can help get people seen and see what they need to stay open or to be prosperous.
Wow. So your response to COVID is closing until the spring or summer. And while you're doing that, you're not going to sit on your hands. You're actually going to use your resources virtually to help other businesses that are remaining open get visibility. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely.
Very good. And that would kind of cement why this Facebook comment, somebody said, Jasper Axelrad is such an incredible, inspiring entrepreneur. Thank you for all you do in this community. And I want to thank you right on top of that. Our next question is going to come from one of our own, Rihanna. If you're ready, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Jasper. I want to start off by saying, wow, I'm inspired. The fact that you a year ago were, in a completely different career path, you had a conversation with someone, became inspired, and decided to jump off of this enormous cliff is incredible. So someone out there considering starting a business, maybe it's not in their career path and it's during the time of COVID, kind of like what you did. What advice would you give this person?
Don't get employees. No. No. Wait, let me reframe that. I would recommend getting with the networking crowds, because they have resources like 1 Million Cups, right? You guys have gone through different entrepreneurial phases that can help educate and advise people. And there's such a willingness to help support that, which is just incredible. I think that BNI is actually a really wonderful option. You should shop different chapters. Again, I had no idea what it was, and I just happened to pop into the chapter that was a beautiful one for me and a great fit. But that can really support your business starting up in a amazing way, because it locks you into a certain niche that everybody gets to know you on a much more personal level, so they have a better referral in a sense. And so really, again, the networking community is where I would start if you're thinking about starting a business at all, because every single networking that I've been to, whether it's Heartland Connect, whether it's 1 Million Cups, the old Chicago meetings, all of these have been absolutely incredible for insight, for wisdom, for people who've been there and done it, and they're willing to impart that wisdom to you. So anybody looking to start up, and if you ever need any resources on contacts, I'm sure every single person on here could help. And of course, feel free to message me, and I can try and help connect you to the people who you would need to talk to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful answer. I have a question. You said you're reopening and after this winter season. What new and creative ideas do you have in mind for kind of like your reopening after the winter?
Yeah, definitely. So I'd really love to. Tobala is not my livelihood, which makes it really wonderful because I can be very, very fluid. My idea, I don't like micromanaging. I can't even make myself breakfast. Okay. So I want people to be in there who are passionate about what they do and to give them what they need for that. So what I was looking at, right, is when I reopen, because the truck is very profitable in the spring and summer, is doing a 3,200 base salary, right? We do commission on top of that. I want to implement 401ks because I think being preventatively financial is an amazing gift that you can give to people as a business owner, and it's tax write-off. So I've like partnered with Katie Winland and Human Interest on this, and she's been incredible. And the way that I'd love to operate is to be able to give people full benefits in the truck so that they can make enough money between March to September that they can take off the rest of the year if they want. And they create the menu, they create the cuisine, because so many people are just brilliant with food. And that's kind of the shift and the idea that Tobala will do in the spring, so that it can partner back up with the breweries that we've made wonderful connections with, and just be a collaborative piece in the community.
And just kind of keep it going, huh?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
it's completely operational on its own. So I can do the bookings from anywhere in the world, and I can do the marketing aspect from anywhere on the world because that's all virtual. So it's really just getting reliable people who can drive the truck. They've got the business card, they can purchase what they need, they have all the resources to talk with the farmers and all kinds of stuff. It's a fully functioning restaurant.
It sounds like you're creating a model that not only supports but promotes chefs or cooks who are in these food trucks in a way that gives them stability that they wouldn't necessarily have because they're probably focusing on just feeding people, if you will. And I think that that's extremely important. And I think that's going to be impactful for a lot of chefs out there in that space. So kudos for you. There's a Facebook question that just came through. What is missing that could help make the next few months more successful? I guess they may be speaking towards your planning and your reopening.
So the next few months, I'm completely pivoting, right? So I'm going to create something called creative collaboration, and that is going to be a faceless entity. With the shutdowns, especially in the springs, the restaurant owners, the breweries, the bars, they are hurting tremendously, right? Most of them are suffering in some capacity, but even more so is a lot of them will not reopen. This is their livelihood. These are small business owners who are looking at their livelihood being taken away, essentially. So what I'm doing is I'm pivoting this entire page right now to get these people seen. and heard in a way that any business owner or really any individual who has a story to tell about the systematic shutdowns can come on and speak for free in a way that is safe without any negative ramifications. There will be absolutely no political agenda with it. It will be nonpartisan. And we've got about 10 different podcast broadcasters and streamers, different media platforms, all donating their trade to make this happen. And then there are people in other states that are going to stream this live so that it can't be filtered. Because that's one of the biggest problems on social media is the filter algorithm that's happening. So we want this to be seen on a national level of how people are hurting and how we can help them. And just get their stories out there and heard on a very base level.
Absolutely, absolutely. It sounds like you're going to be a social media warrior for the restaurant industry, which I'm pretty sure I can speak for everyone watching, not being able to go and kind of grab some food or have a drink after work, if you will, or even on a weekend, is definitely crushing our social side of our lives, which is kind of a break from our working life, especially as a business owner. So thank you for that, because we know that the restaurant industry is suffering. We have another question from, again, one of our own, Samantha Sargent. If you are ready, go ahead and ask.
Yeah, so that's really smart. I like what you're doing there. Actually, it's sort of a question slash I can maybe connect you with some other people. I've recently seen a lot of events that they're partnering with breweries and they're doing like, are you doing some of that stuff? Because maybe you could tell us more about it. But I've gotten some emails recently from breweries and restaurants that partnered to do just an event that's for like 8 people. It's like a beer tour or whatever. And so they're interacting on social media or on a Zoom call. Are you helping with some of those things? That sounds really fun.
I definitely think so. Most of the breweries have had to go to outdoor dining on the patio. And then a lot of the distilleries have to go cocktails or things like that. So I'm so glad that they're being creative, because they're having to be, right? And they're having to try to rethink on how to pay their rent, right? That's essentially what it is. And make any kind of income, because they're still having to pay full taxes and rent without any kind of consumers. So I would highly encourage any event that's doing that. Right now, if you see the posts for social media for the meetings that are going on in the city to try to help small businesses stay open, that's what I've been doing. I've been creating those flyers and I've been getting those out across social media. I learned Canva, I learned Snapseed and some of these other programs. I actually designed my food truck on my phone. And big shout out to Blue Line Design on that for taking it and blowing it up into what it is.
Nice.
But I learned all of this pretty much on my phone. So when I can't sleep, which is almost every single night, I do this on my phone because it's a creative outlet that I really enjoy. And like I said, let's get people seen. So for the individual breweries working in a creative way, I encourage that so much.
Nice, nice. So much good stuff coming down through your answers. Again, really appreciate you. Just kind of trying to find this question here from Tani, who wants to ask, what is the exact creative collaboration location on time or online? So like, where can they find this this collaboration creative that you were speaking on?
So in the next couple days, there's going to be 2 websites made. They're being secured right now, again, through trade of others. They're literally donating their time and resources to make this happen. One of them is going to be for anybody looking to support local businesses as a whole. And that is for anyone. You do not need to be a business owner, but I highly encourage you to join that, because there will be big movements happening that we really will need people's support on as a community, as a state, as a whole. The second one is going to be the creative collaboration platform, and that is going to I'll definitely get you guys resources and links as they come. We came up with this idea like less than a week and a half ago and are moving so quickly with it. So we will get all those resources to you guys, because if you want to come on and share your story for 5 minutes on how these shutdowns have impeded you or impacted your livelihood, we want to hear it, and we want to create a collective voice. That's so important right now, to give some power back to the individual.
Understandable. Well, I tell you one thing. I think, again, I can speak for everyone. We're all very amazed that there are people like you out there doing what you're doing, and you seem very selfless and just an addition to the business community. And so we're at the end of our presentation, and someone is going to ask the super special question. Danielle, I see you waving. Please take it away.
Jasper, what can we as the Colorado Springs business community do to support you?
Oh man, that's a fantastic question. I am looking for anybody who has a blogger, a social media presence, a broadcaster, a streamer, anyone along those lines. Please get in contact with me so that you can help be part of this collaborative collective. Any business owners that would like to speak, and anybody who has had a challenging time and wants their story heard, find me on Jasper Axelrad Facebook. I'm the only one on Facebook. My last name's Axelrad. Message me. I will get you in the queue so your story can be heard, and we can start creating a collaborative movement across the nation.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, we once again just thank you, Jasper Axelrad. I love saying your name.
Guys, I
Clapping.
know it's a crazy one.
Everybody on screen just kind of put those together for you. We really appreciate you coming out and sharing your journey, sharing what you're going to be doing upcoming. And to everybody watching, go online, check out Tobala Food Truck, this creative collaborative. If you know anybody that is doing social media, please direct them towards her.
It's
And
tobalacuisine.com, by the way, if y'all want to check out the website. I did create that on my phone too, so don't judge it too harshly, please.
well, I think those things you're mentioning about creating on your phone give hope to some people who may not have the capital to create an online presence. So, you are definitely an example to maybe someone watching that, with very little, you can still make a big impact.